Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is RagingRaptor and I welcome you to a new episode of Frontline Guides. Today we have a look at the newest map, which is today Base D, or well, I said it stupidly, obviously I just mean Base D of the current map, but it's the newest episode today. And once again, we are going to have a look at tips and tricks for attackers as well as defenders, and especially decent positions. And as you might have guessed from this driveway, we are going to have a look as an attacker first, and then we are going to have a look at how to defend D. So, sadly enough, today we have a problem that what tactics is not working, so I have to use my amazing drawing skills to somehow give you the best look at where you should go and how it should look like. So today we don't have the fancy emblems or anything, so let's just do some tasty stuff. Obviously, decap is, in my personal opinion, one of the easiest for attackers and one of the hardest for defenders. The only thing which really gets you hard in this specific decap of an attacker is that most of the time the game is a little bit prolonged and most of the enemies already have airstrikes and arty strikes, which can frick you up very good. Because you have to watch out from positions from over here you can get shot at, and you can get shot at from here. So you have to watch out for these corridors. But the good thing is, as you might already see, C gives you a decent chunk of cover. You have those walls over here, D obviously, you have those walls over here. You have this incline over here which can help you out in making tanks like the ELC even very suitable for that position. You have this rock over here which keeps you safe because of this wall as well, and you can even stay over here, but you have to watch out for the people camping on the church, even though I do not recommend it. So let's have a look at how we are going to play this out right here, as it is the best to just show you. I know it's a little bit foggy right now, so that was a good call by our platoon mates to do this. You can see we are all the way down here and it's getting pretty much crowded, and the enemies are doing a decent job with, as you can see, arty strike, rest in pieces Johnny, and well, Mango just got a blow up from the airstrike, so poor bastard, or poor sap for that. You can see, in my opinion, if you want to succeed at D in capping, stay on the move. You have to move around. You have to use your mobility and just don't stay at one spot if you are not spotted. Right now we are not now we are spotted, but beforehand we were not spotted, and you can see we are starting to drive around as much as possible again. Once again, just so you know, capping gives us a lot of points. Yeah, we basically got almost one level up there because we didn't got that many cap points. We got around 70, which was still pretty decent. But now let's recap. This position over here is probably the best. You can use those walls, but you can see from the craters, it's prime time target for enemy air and artillery strikes. A lot of people tend to do blind shots over here with an arty strike. Down here you are a little bit more prone to fire from up there, but the good thing is most of the time nobody is camping up here, so you are more or less safe. Yet you have to have a look at the left and the right hand side to know what you are going to do. And lastly, this position over here is also pretty decent to use, but it's not, well, it's a little bit harder to play because you can overpeak and you can maybe, depending where you're standing, get shot through this little needle. So let's put this all down. First of all, this position right here is amazing. You can totally use that. It's very decent to go there and it works out pretty well. I personally suggest to be down there a little bit, as it helps you out a lot more because you can stay hidden when you're playing small tanks. And for heavy tanks, I suggest to go over here, where you can use this rock as the IS-3A is doing right here as your cover. But again, keep in mind, people can flank you from over here and people can flank you from down there. But then again, the other hand is very easy to cap because it's very good and close. Again, only problem, artillery, arty strike, bombarding. Those are the big problems for you if you want to play or attack D. When you want to do attacking routes, I'd suggest to you, if you're a light tank, go something like this. This works pretty well. And if you want to do another attacking route, you can maybe think about going like this. Or I also really like to go up here, do some fighting up here. Let's just do a nice circle somehow and maybe get some shots up here and over here before we go down here and join the cap. And the amazing part about D is if you got D, excuse me, the enemies have to run away, you can go up here and do some prime target damage on the people defending E. And if I'm not even mistaken, I'm going to make it a little bit faster, but if I'm not mistaken, we are actually going to do this in just a second. We are now just going for repair. You can see our little triangle is down there. And now let's speed it up a little bit more. Now you can see we are doing what I already told you. We are driving up here, but sadly we get, yes, a little bit butt fricked there by the Jack Panther 2 and the WZ-120 FT. But still, if you can get up here and, well, you can use your spot plane over there, like somebody else did, or I did, I'm not entirely sure even. You can do damage like this, shoot there, do awesome damage, you can do damage like this, and you have easy going to go to E and help out with the caps. If you want to use a spot plane on D, it depends really how the enemies are looking. This position over here is decent for a spot plane. This over here is decent for a spot plane. And lastly, trying to spot here is also pretty decent. Now this looks like a wiener, I'm sorry for that. But nevertheless, those positions are pretty decent, and this is where you could in theory go. And with your spot plane, and I hope, I'm sorry that it looks so wonky, but that's how we have to work right now. So let's go into a defender cap, because right now we know where the attackers are going to camp most of the time or cap most of the time. Now let's see what we can do to try to, well, don't let them cap basically. Now we are on the defending team and trying to defend a ever, well, pressing enemy team, which is trying to get the cap D. And I guess, to be honest, as already said, it is pretty hard to actually defend D, except if you have something like an air or an arty strike. This is where I can then now say that is awesome. That works wonders. But if not, your only real option is to YOLO inside. As dumb as it sounds. Throw everything you have in there and YOLO inside. You have to go in here. You can go from here. And you can even go from down here. You can go like this, and like this, or from here. Those are the usual spots you have to drive into D to actually try and decap D. You can see we got lucky enough to get Cyberpat in his Prosciutto 46, but still we can't do anything sneaky. We can't do a sneaky cap denial. We have to basically go in. And the only thing which can happen, and this is something which you should do with a light tank, is you can in theory do some pretty funky stuff. And basically, if the enemies decide to capture, you can drive over there, or if they are in a cap circle and you have something like a spotting plane, you can drive over here or even over here and have shots into the base over there, which obviously is a huge benefit because you can farm decaps like days. But then again, you have to be lucky that the enemies do not notice you or don't have anybody up here. Obviously, this spot over here works as well, more or less to do some decapping action, but you are more or less prone to enemy fire, yet it's still a very, very good position. On the other side, I don't really have any positions I can recommend for you because either you are cut off and have a huge way to go, or you can maybe stay over here, but then again you have no way to run away. And yeah, your impact is decent because you can hit this spot over here, this stone wall. It can work, but then again it is pretty hard. And as already mentioned, if you are in this spot over here, basically it is fight or die. You can maybe try to get down here without taking any damage, but it's risky, plus you are open on the field for those people, and you're open for the people which are in the cap circle, obviously capping. Yet let's just put this into perspective. You can put somebody over here. This is a good spot. Oops, that's a little bit over. This is a good spot. This can work. You can go over here. This is also a good spot. And if you're very sneaky, you can even go up here, but it's questionable if it is going to work, depending how your team is. The key for D to defend D basically is to not let the enemies get into the cap circle, which is sadly enough something which you don't really want to do because you want to farm D cap points. Nevertheless, you can, if you, let's get, what's it called? I want to get, yeah, whatever, there is none. I wanted to get a rubber to erase that stuff, eraser. Because you can in theory also stay up here as a TD and you have really good shots up here if the enemies tend to push over the upper flank, which I personally tend to do a lot as an attacker team. I also tend to be more aggressive throughout those pushes, but there is not really anything you can do as a defender against it. You can see even the LT432 is down there waiting and giving us some free damage with our HE, because now we are all the way into their base. We are right there, and we are going to get ourselves some juicy sky bacon. But yet D, as already said, D is very dependent on how aggressive you can play and how hard people are in D, because you can even stay over here and get some decent shots into there, but again it is questionable if it's going to work out or not. So yes, those are my tips and tricks for D. I know they are not that many, and I'm sorry that we have a program which is less than optimal. But yeah, that's what I can give you right here. I don't really recommend to go up here. This is not really a good position because, again, we have the same problem like over here. You can't really get away. So I don't really recommend to get up there. And you can't really decap from there. So yeah, D is more or less a base for people which are playing lights to mediums. A heavy can stay over here, or rather behind the wall. Let's just quickly fly over there with our free camera. And heavy can stay over here. It works really well, to be honest. It works pretty decently, and you have a decent chance on decapping some people. And you, if it is necessary, you can go over here and peek over here. But then again, you don't really have anything to stay hold down as a cannon or something like this. You can stay in theory over here and camp, but you will most likely get rushed over and get RT bombarded to hell. So yeah, those were my tips and tricks for base D. I hope I was able to somehow help you out. You can see that right now some people are capping D. So now let's just see what RagingRaptor is doing, because right now we are behind there and doing some damage to that spaghetto. This is our, we are, once again, we basically have to YOLO the capture. We're doing some zigzagging, spotting the Lanzen C, and now just blocking the cap with just staying inside, but it's actually unnecessary for us to do this, because, yeah, we are already general. But nevertheless, I hope I was able to explain to you how more or less to play base D. Let me know in the comment section below what I've forgotten, and goodbye, little submarines. Oh, never mind, maybe the Lancer now arrives. No, he doesn't. We had 2 submarines over there. Thanks so much for watching. Leave a like, leave a comment if you enjoyed the video. If you didn't like it, let me know in the comment section what I can do better. And don't forget to subscribe to stay up to date with your daily dose of Frontline or sleep line because it's getting boring. Bye bye.